I want to go back to the FAA, but I also want to ask about another part of the system for manufacturers is the employee and the employee reporting system. The expert review panel recommended that Boeing implement the Aviation Safety Action Program at all production sites. Unlike the current reporting system, Speak Up, this system is a tri-party process for the FAA, Boeing, and union representatives to jointly file reports and address problems early. So it's kind of an identification system. Speak Up lacks that role for the FAA and union to review the concerns employees are submitting. So we've obviously talked to the workforce about these issues, and I want to hear from you what you believe on this expert review panel and the input employees and your visibility into this. You talked about more data and information.
Yes, I think the ASAP program is a very robust tool for hearing from the employees, and as you indicated, the FAA is part of that process. So we are supportive of that, and we'd like to see that extended throughout the workforce with that same transparency and participation by FAA. We need to have visibility into the reporting that's coming from the employees.
So is that, do you have that now currently in other manufacturers?
I can respond separately with some more detail about that from other manufacturers to information about their programs.
I think, again, some people might not understand or think that this might be an over-requirement, when in reality you think it should be part of a basic system that you have.
It does, and we have our own redundancy by having an FAA hotline, and we have requested to Boeing CEO that they communicate our hotline information to their employees, which they have done, and we have had hotline reports come in through FAA.
So you don't think there's anything deleterious here about having FAA have some insight to this?
No, I think it's quite necessary.
Okay, so what can the FAA do to ensure that that actually happens?
Well, as part of this plan, part of the SMS rollout under the comprehensive plan will include a robust system for employee reporting. So that will be one of the things that we're monitoring, and we will make sure that that's transparent.
Okay. So appreciate that. If you could help lean into that. I think your point about data, whether it's SDRs or whether it's we in ANCSA put this risk report that's required every year because we want to see what we think are the developing top risks.
Right.
And I think it was effective when NTSB called out that one of the #1 risks they were seeing was near miss and lack of implementation of technology. And shortly thereafter, the administrator at that time, acting administrator, quickly said, let's get a rule and get something done. Yeah. So those are the kinds of system improvements that we'd like to see. A large part of the FAA's oversight is making sure there are enough safety inspectors, and we recognize the importance that the safety workforce is, and that's why enacting the recent law, we basically authorized $66.7 billion over 5 years to help boost the FAA's workforce and to make sure that we have an increase in the number of aviation safety inspectors. This is to be done across all shifts, obviously, at manufacturing sites. How does the FAA know what the right number of safety inspectors are? How do we use metrics to measure their success?
Well, the interaction between what the inspectors are finding and what the staffing needs are is sort of a continuous feedback loop. So with respect to Boeing, as we do the audit and we find gaps in the production process, that gives us insight into where we need the inspectors, and they continue to deploy and continue their audits and inspections, and we redeploy assets as needed. So for example, there are a lot of issues around tool management and part management, and we would expect as Boeing deploys newer state-of-the-art technologies to manage their tools and parts, once we see that successful, we won't need as many inspectors there, and they might be redeployed to some other aspect of production. So it's designed to be a flexible system based on feedback. We initially had deployed 24 inspectors. I think we're up in the low 30s now to Boeing and Spirit, and our target is 55. So we're continuing to train and increase inspectors to deploy.
How do you know that 55 is the right number?
Well, that's our best estimate at this point, based on where we think we need to deploy them, but that number could change over time. And I think a key to how we want to do oversight going forward is to have flexibility to make sure we're putting our assets where they need to be and removing them from less risk areas to deploy them more effectively.
Thank you. I see Senator Blackburn on the screen. Senator Blackburn, are you ready